Students, in this video, we would be discussing about the meaning of working capital, types of working capital, and what are the various factors that affect the amount of working capital that need to be employed in a business. Before starting meaning of working capital, we should know the importance of working capital is. Working capital is very essential part, and most of the organizations may don't take it as important as uh, as it is. So you may be having a very unique product. You may be having very good demand in the market. You may be having best brains in your organization. Those who are managing the business activity. Uh, you may be having unique technology. So you may be having each and everything which is best. But having each and everything best, good market demand, good unique product, advanced technology, best brains managing your business, even then if a due consideration is not given to the management of working capital, even then a very good business can be converted into a sick firm. Reason is being a working capital is such a essential part. It can be said that all the activities of the business is somehow linked with the uh, working capital. So if you're managing your working capital in a proper manner, in an efficient manner, so your business going to survive for a longer time period. Otherwise, having each and everything best, even that cannot make sure that your business going to be sustainable. Right? So, it understand the meaning of working capital. So, what do you mean by working capital? As the name suggests, working and capital. So, capital, we all know capital means the fund which is invested in the business is known as capital, and it is being invested by the owner is known as capital. When we add the word working to the capital, so working means the day-to-day working of the organization. So whatever fund is being invested for the day-to-day working of the organization is known as working capital. Right? So you may be requiring capital for lots of day-to-day transactions. So you may be requiring funds or capital for purchase of raw material, for payment of salary, for payment of wages, for the payment of repair of machinery, for the payment of freight, for the goods which you have bought, for the payment of refreshment, for the payment of advance salary. Right. So you business has lots of day-to-day transactions, and for all those transactions, funds are required, and the fund which you are sparing and investing in a business for meeting out all those expenses is known as working capital. In a recent manner, uh, we can also state uh, working capital as the funds which is required for utilization of fixed assets. So whatever funds which you are investing for the utilization of fixed assets is known as working capital. So suppose you are having machinery, but for using of machinery you require raw material. So for raw material, for purchase of raw material you require working capital. So you may be having raw material, but for processing you require labor, and labor need to be paid as wages. So for that working capital is required. So goods which you have manufactured should be dispatched to the customer. For dispatching the goods, you need to pay freight charges. So for that, you require working capital. So you may be having fixed assets, but for the utilization of fixed assets, the funds which we required is known as working capital. Now we are having various types of working capital. So based on amount, we can classify it gross working capital and net working capital. So gross working capital is a total of all the current assets. So all the current assets, if we add it up, it will be known as gross working capital. So current assets is something which we are requiring to maintain for a shorter time period. So current assets, the assets which we are having for a shorter time period, and for that, for maintaining those assets, we need to invest funds. So for that particular fund is known as gross working capital. Second type of working capital is net working capital. Now, when we adjust current liabilities from total current assets, so remaining portion is known as net working capital. Now, why are we adjusting current liabilities from the total current assets? Why not total current assets is known as net working capital? Reason is being uh, whatever asset we are having, so we are not paying it for all the assets in cash. Certain assets, current assets which we are having, we have bought it on credit, and those credit are our current liabilities. So we may be maintaining stock. The stock which we are maintaining may be bought on credit from the supplier, and the supplier is the creditor, which is the current liability. So when we're talking about gross working capital, so we need not to invest the entire amount. So total requirement of our gross working capital is somehow funded from the current liabilities. So we need not to invest for the portion of current assets that has been funded from our current liabilities. So we need to invest for the remaining portion. So that's why what we are doing, we are adjusting current liabilities from our total current assets, because a certain portion of total current assets has been funded by the current liabilities, and the remaining portion need to be funded by the owner through investing as a capital. So net working capital is something that need to be invested by the owner in the business. Gross working capital is the requirement, and the net working capital is something that is required to be invested. Next, we are having based on time, we are having two types of working capital, that is permanent working capital and temporary working capital. So permanent working capital means the capital which you require, working capital which is permanently invested in the business. So there are certain expenses that is of permanent nature. You need to pay it on a regular basis. They are recurring in nature, and you need to maintain certain sum to for paying all those expenses. For that, the fund which you have invested and you're retaining it and you are maintaining as a balance is known as permanent working capital. So suppose you need to pay salary. So monthly basis, on a monthly basis, you are paying certain amount as a salary. So you may be maintaining certain sum for paying a monthly salary. So the funds which you are maintaining on a permanent basis, since you need to pay salary on a monthly basis, so you should be having certain sum of funds that is equivalent to the amount of salary as working capital. So that is known as permanent working capital, which you have to maintain on a regular basis. So that is known as permanent working capital. Second type of working capital is temporary working capital. Temporary working capital means the capital which you need not to invest on a regular basis, but for a certain time period you require some additional funds. For that additional fund is known as temporary working capital. So suppose on a seasonal basis, suppose there is a season. On seasonal basis, you need to manufacture additional goods. For manufacturing of additional goods, you need to purchase additional raw material or you need to employ additional labor. So whatever additionally you require to pay for the raw material or additional wages which you require to pay to the labor. So that additional amount other than your permanent working capital is known as temporary working capital. So permanent is something which we are investing on a regular basis. So above the permanent working capital, we require some additional funds. So that additional funds is known as temporary working capital. So suppose in India, we are having a tradition that most of the consumers buy a new product in the case on the occasion of Navratri. So suppose, and it happens, so lots of automobile dealers, what they do, when there is a Navratri season, before a Navratri season, they start storing stock. So for that stock is being stored for a month, for a 15 days, for 10 days only. So for storing that stock for 10 or 15 days, since in next 10 or 15 days all the stock will be get cleared, since in Navratra lots of consumers will be coming and purchasing new product. So in that case, whatever funds which you have invested for storing some additional units in your warehouse, so that is known as temporary working capital. You have invested for 15 days, for a month, and within a month or 15 days you will be realizing it back. So that is known as permanent temporary working capital. Right. So next we're reviewing determinants of working capital. What are the various factors which impact the requirement of working capital are? So first which we are having, that is nature and size of business. So nature and size of business impacts the requirement of working capital up to a certain extent. Suppose if we are a manufacturing unit, so you may be requiring working capital in a larger amount. If you belong to a service sector, in service sector, the requirement of working capital much lesser than what it is in case of manufacturing unit. Like in a manufacturing unit also, if you are manufacturing normal consumable goods, the requirement of working capital will be much lesser than an organization which is manufacturing uh, uh, heavy consumable goods. So suppose there is a steel manufacturing unit. So steel manufacturing unit require lots of working capital than a normal FMCG manufacturing company. So steel industry having requirement of larger amount of working capital in comparison to company which is involved in manufacturing of fast moving consumable goods. So even in a manufacturing unit, the type of goods which you are manufacturing impacts the requirement of working capital. Again, the size, whatever the size of the organization, if you belong to a smaller or medium sized organization or larger organization or micro level organization, so based on that, the requirement of working capital will be varying. So whatever, if a large organization requiring certain sum of money, so the micro organization will won't be requiring the same amount of money. So the amount of working capital which will be required by the micro organization will be much lesser than what is required in case of larger organization. Second determinant is firm's production policy. Whatever the production policy which a firm says, it impacts the requirement of working capital. Certain manufacturing unit says a production policy like we need to start manufacturing goods and start storing it at our warehouse so that whenever the requirement raises, we can supply those goods immediately. So in that case, you will be requiring higher amount of working capital. Since you are investing your working capital in manufacturing and storing goods in your warehouse, you don't have immediate demand. So you are expecting a demand in near future, and for supply of goods on immediate basis, you must be manufacturing and storing it in your warehouse. So if you are having this kind of production policy of manufacturing, storing warehouse to meet out the future demand on an instant basis, so in that case, the working capital which you will be requiring will be more. And certain manufacturing units has a production policy like to manufacture goods only when the order has been received. So you're not manufacturing storing goods pre-hand. What you are doing, you are waiting for the order. Once the order is received, then you start manufacturing it. So in that case, the requirement of working capital will be much lesser than whatever working capital you will be requiring in case of manufacturing and storing it. So the production policy which the manufacturing unit adopts somehow impacts the requirement of working capital. Next, we're having firm's credit policy. So certain some firms has no credit policy, means they're selling or their goods on cash basis. So if you're selling your goods on cash basis, so you won't be requiring much working capital to invest in debtors. So you're not investing in debtors. So in that case, the requirement of working capital will be lesser. But certain organizations has credit policy to increase their sales. They allow credit to the customers so that customers get interested and start purchasing from them. So in that case, if you are allowing credit for a longer time period, so you must be investing your amount in creditors for a longer time period. In that case, the requirement of working capital will be much more. So the credit which you allow to the customers somehow impacts the requirement of working capital. Next, we're having availability of credit. So the credit which is being allowed by the supplier to you somehow impacts your working capital. If you are being allowed larger amount for a longer time period as credit uh, by the supplier, so in that case your requirement of working capital will be lesser. But if you are not allowed any kind of credit, you need to pay cash for purchase of raw materials. So in that case, the requirement of working capital will be higher since you require to maintain cash in funds and bank balance for purchase of goods since the supply is not allowing credit to you. So you need to have a larger amount of working capital. And in case supply giving you credit, so you need not to pay them instantly. So in that case, you won't require to maintain funds for payment of the raw material. You will be required to pay it at a later date. So the requirement of working capital will be much less. Next, the growth and expansion of the business. So growth and expansion policies of the business may impact the working capital requirement. If the organization having an expansion plan, they are establishing new manufacturing unit, they start manufacturing additional products. In that case, the requirement of working capital will be much higher. Certain organizations don't have any expansion plan; they want to run at their existing capacity. So the requirement of working capital won't change. But if you are going and expanding your business, in that case, you will be requiring higher amount of working capital. Next, we're having change in technology. So through change in technology, you need not to invest directly in the whatever you're investing in directly in acquiring new technology is something that relates to the fixed assets, not to the current assets. If it doesn't relate to the current assets, it won't be part of working capital. But through acquiring new technology, the consumption of raw material may decrease, wastage may decrease, work in progress duration may decrease. You will be requiring lesser amount of raw material. So in that case, the amount which you are investing in work in progress in raw material will be reduced. So with the reducing amount to invest in work in progress and raw material, somehow impacts the requirement of working capital. So through change in technology, not directly but indirectly, working capital is impacted. Next, we're having taxation policy. So taxation policy somehow impacts the working capital requirement. So we can take an example. Suppose you are an organization, you're dealing with the manufacturing of food products, and for manufacturing food products, you will be requiring raw material. For acquiring raw material, you're paying GST at a rate of 15%. Suppose. So for raw material, you are required to pay GST at a rate of 15%. Right. So and when you're selling goods on the food products, when you're selling it to the customers, you are charging GST at a rate of 5%. So you are paying to your supplier GST at a rate of 15%, but what you are charging from the customer is 5%. So what is the case? You have already paid tax at a rate of 15%, and what the amount of tax which you have acquired from your supplier is 5%. So the 10%, the gap of 10% is your tax refund. And if government doesn't pay you that 10%, so what you're doing, you're keeping investing your funds in that 10% portion of tax. So that somehow the taxation policy going to impact the requirement of working capital.